Was it true? Had she really been in love with him all that time? Then Discord began to wonder if things could have turned out differently. Sir? He jumped at the sound of the prince's voice. Muffle was standing right beside him. What are you doing up? Discord snapped. You were in my daughter's room, were you? No, no! Muffle insisted, holding up his hoof. I just got hungry. So you're having one of us for a midnight snack? Will you stop? I just wanted some chocolate milk. That stopped in Discord. You like chocolate milk? Churchin grinned. I love it. Discord stared at him and then sighed. He saw him with a second glass. Here, he said coldly, handing him the glass. Now go away. Mother was about to obey his command when a thought occurred to him. He turned back to the Draconicus. What are you doing up, sir? Discord grunted. None of your business. He expected Changeling to leave, but instead he seated himself beside him. Discord was about time to go away again, but he wasn't in the mood. After a few minutes of awkward silence, Muff let out a light chuckle. You know, he said, holding up his glass. Screwy was the one who introduced me to chocolate milk. I told her I was hungry, but she didn't know my diet. I didn't want to be rude, so I drank the glass she gave me. Chocolate milk tastes a lot like love, you know? Disco said and looked down at him with wide eyes. What did you say? I said chocolate milk tastes like love. An image of young Christmas flashed in his mind. He said, shook his head with a grunt. You okay, sir? Mother asked. Disco went to avoid talking about the boy's mother and asked a question he'd been wondering for a while. How did you and Screwy meet? I mean, I know when you met, but how? Mother looked down his glass and smiled. It was my 12th birthday. When a changeling turns 12, they go off on their first hunt. I found myself in the Everfree Forest and I heard the sweetest sound. I discovered a chocolate lake, and swimming in it was the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen. He sighed. Her melodious voice, her curly purple and white hair, her hypnotic eyes. Disco caught his paw. Right, Muthful said, shaking his head. Anyway, I felt something pounding inside me and figured it was my stomach. I took it to form a dinky, but Scurry wasn't fooled. She blushed in embarrassment. She started banging my head into the ground. The Jacancus chuckled. That's my girl. She forced me to reveal myself, and the strange thing was, she didn't run. Martha paused to take a sip of his chocolate milk. She was the first friend I ever had. Disco's eyes widened. Fluttershy was my first friend. He was about to say, not cut your mother, but he stopped himself. Of course, this was never really his friend. I mean, I had dozens of brothers and sisters, Muthful continued, but I never hung out with them. See, I was always different from the other changelings. Not just because I was a royal. I mean, I also had a heart, but I didn't know that yet. I always felt like I didn't belong. When I met Screwy, I felt like I finally belonged somewhere. And for the first time, I felt like I had a heart. He looked up at Discord in the eye. You know what I'm saying? Discord was silent as he stared down at the changeling. He resembled his mother greatly, but now when he looked at him, he saw himself. He was an outcast. He had been ostracized for being different all his life. Suddenly, Disco felt bad for calling him heartless much so many times, when he had been called the same, and it took the love of a man to change them both. Yes, Mothball, Disco whispered. I believe I do. Mother didn't need to hear anything else. The sympathy in the Draconicus' eyes was enough. I'm going to bed, he announced, sliding up the couch. Wait, Disco said, putting his claw on the changeling's shoulder. Mothball flinched at this touch, but turned to face him. He was surprised to find the Draconicus smiling at him. You're okay, kid, he said, patting him on the back. You're okay. Then he leaned forward and glared. What if you do anything to hurt my daughter? So help me, the changeling grinned nervously. Of course, sir. Disco released him, Mothball didn't hesitate to run back to his room. The Draconicus watched him cautiously, but he wasn't worried as before. For now, he knew that the boy would never harm his daughter. Chrysalis sat in the middle of Mothball's room, staring at his old bed. In her host was the thin black blanket he had slept with since birth. She held it up to her chest, her eyes holding no emotion, as blank as a winter night sky. She had thought that by removing her heart, the hurting would stop. But it wasn't until after she had done the deed that she realized emotion didn't come solely from the heart. She felt nothing in her chest and shed no tears, but her stomach felt heavy and her head was tingling. She didn't care about her defeat in Ponyville. There would be other battles. It was the cause that had made her like this. She had lost her son. She recalled the day Multiple had been born. She hadn't expected it. It was just another one from monthly births. She'd gotten too used to them to feel any pain. She got a surprise when one of the nurse changes announced, "Your Majesty, this one's a royal." The nurse handed her the black larva, which was twice the size of his newborn siblings. His eyes were green with slit pupils, the sign of a royal. "A prince," she muttered, "an heir to my throne." She held him up. "You will become the deadliest changeling of them all. So deadly that even your own kind will fear you." She kind of thought. It was deadlier to an insect than a mothball. She had tried so hard not to fail this time, to turn her child into a king while remaining unattached. But all in vain. It had happened again. She had driven her child away, and once again she was left without an heir. "Your Majesty." She did not need to turn around to know it was General Madness standing in the doorway. "The other judges want to know what our next course of action is." The Queen stiffened. "Tell them that we will not be planning another attack for a while. Not until we've recovered from our defeat." The Lieutenant took a cautious step forward. "I'm sorry, my Queen." "For what?" she snapped. "The Prince. I know you didn't want to lose another heir." "Silence! You know the law. No one is to speak of that again. And as of right now, you will do all the same with Mothball. None shall ever speak his name, or of his betrayal. Seal off this room. Prince Mothball will never existed. Do you understand?" He bowed. "Yes, my Queen." "Good," she sighed. "Though there's no doubt that new heir is needed. We will have one soon. And this time," she pulled on the blanket so hard that it ripped. "No mistakes." I don't know what I'm going to update next, since I'm apparently working on 3 fixed at once now, as well as planning one for Christmas. But I'm glad I'm finally getting into this, because this has been the work since last year. I've also been done expanding the backstory between Discord and Chrysalis. This may not turn out as great as the other 2 fics, but there was so much in Discord I didn't get to wrap up. Leave a review.